We have a new flagship in the Element Optics lineup, and this is officially the worst kept secret of all time. But at SHOT Show 2023, we were finally able to announce the Theos 6-36x56, and it was an awesome moment for us because we've actually been working on the scope since before we even publicly launched Element Optics back in February 2020. It's been a 3.5-year process to get the scope to where we want it, but the time has finally come to talk about it. Let's start with the basics. This is a 6-36x56 first focal plane rifle scope. It's very much geared towards PRS and long range shooting. This is not something you're going to put on your lightweight hunting rifle. This is built for performance with no corners cut. The overall design is actually quite short and compact for this magnification range, but it's by no means a featherweight scope. The 56mm objective lens gathers plenty of light for when you're at high magnification at dawn or dusk, and the 34mm body tube provides extra rigidity and plenty of elevation travel with 100 MOA or 30 mils. The ocular lens is adjustable for your eye, and the magnification ring is grippy and clearly marked from 6x to 36x. And as with all of our scopes, there is a removable throw lever. If it gets in the way of your bolt throw, you can simply unscrew it and replace it with the dummy screw that we include with the scope. The reticle in the scope is a first focal plane reticle, which means that as you zoom in and out, the reticle zooms in with the image. This is extremely important for precision rifle disciplines because your subtensions remain exactly the same at all magnifications. 1 mil is 1 mil whether you're at 6x or 36x. This is great for these disciplines, but it can be daunting to design a reticle for such a broad magnification range because it's very easy to make that line too thin at minimum magnification where you can't see it, or too thick at maximum where it just takes up too much of your image and stops you from seeing what you need to see. We think we nailed this one. The center dot and main stadia are thinner than on the Nexus and Titan reticles, allowing for finer hold points at high magnifications, and we've shifted the mil scale inwards so that it's still visible at 36x at the edge of your field of view. When you zoom to 6x, the tapered bars of the APR 2D reticle draw your eye to the center, and the holdover numbers increase in size so that your eyes don't have to strain when trying to quickly find a hold point. As it stands right now, the Theos is only available in MRAD, but we are planning to introduce an MOA model in the future. Parallax is adjustable from 10 meters to infinity, and that not only allows you to focus all the way down at, let's say, an NRL 22 match where your targets are a bit closer, but it also allows you to set up targets indoors in your passage, for example, at 10 meters and do dry fire training, which is something that more and more people are doing nowadays. There is also no illumination knob in the way, and that's because we've completely redesigned the illumination system. It is now a digital push button system that uses the logo as the button. You'd never know it's there if you don't want to use it. Hold it in to turn it on and then press it to cycle through the 10 brightness settings. It will flash once when you reach setting number 10, which is your brightest level, and it will also remember which setting you were last on when you switch it off and on, so that if you want to access your favorite brightness setting for hunting in a particular light condition, when you switch it on, you're right there. Now we get to the part that I personally think is the best part of the scope, and that's the turrets. It's part of the reason the scope took so long to develop. We wanted to start from the ground up and really put a ton of effort into rethinking how we do our turrets and just make a general improvement. The first thing you'll notice is that they're quite chunky. This allows us to essentially fit 12 mils per turn on the turrets without making the click spacing too close together, so you overshoot your mark when you're dialing. It's really important to have decent spacing between the clicks, and we've achieved that on the scope while still giving you plenty of travel per turn. We've kept the same Element Optics DNA with the familiar knurling pattern, the same tool-free turret cap, and a zero stop, but we've taken things a step further. We've added a revolution indicator flag, which flips from 1 to 2 when you turn from your first revolution to your second revolution, and we've also added a second line of numbers on the turret itself, so that if you're dialing to, let's say, 17 mils. You don't have to do any mental math or count your clicks. It's right there and you can quickly get to where you need to be. To achieve what we wanted to do with these turrets, we partnered with an optomechanical engineer from Germany with decades of experience working on military spec rifle scopes for a number of tier 1 manufacturers. And he was able to bring that experience to the table to advise on specs for tolerances, material hardness, weather sealing, etc., and help us achieve that firm click feel that we wanted by redesigning the click ring, the springs, and the indicator pin which control these movements. The result is a really firm, tactile click that will not shift on you out in the field. You can do the arm test where you kind of rub against it like this. It's not going to move on you, whether you are out in the field bumping the scope against something, whether you're trying to put your rifle in the bag, whether it's bumping around the back of your truck. You know that wherever you set it, it's going to stay there. But with this large diameter and texture, you're still going to be able to turn it very easily when you need to. The zero stop on the Theos is very interesting. With all of our other models and with the vast majority of rifle scopes out there, the zero stop has to be set manually, and this normally requires tools. This scope is 100% tool free. When you lift off the turret to reset it back to zero, the zero stop mechanism automatically sets. We've designed it to set 5 clicks below zero. This allows you to still have the ability to dial a few clicks down if you're shooting at, let's say, a slight incline angle, for example, and you don't want to hold under. We've managed to keep this tool free by incorporating the zero stop mechanism into the outer turret cap itself. There's a cutaway in there that engages with a corresponding part on the inside. It's a bit harder to machine, takes a bit longer to make, but the convenience factor is amazing. We have capped the Windage turret on the Theos. We had a number of requests from precision rifle shooters who say that they prefer to hold for wind and dial for elevation, and the cap just provides a little bit of peace of mind in knowing that you're not going to bump this or give it a hard knock. Beneath the cap, we have a low profile turret with the same tool-free system and firm clicks. And for those that do want to shoot with your windage exposed, we do also include a thread protector ring in the box. Simply thread it on and you have a sleek looking windage turret without having to worry about dirt clogging up those threads. Talking about accessories, we do include a sunshade in the box, which is threaded on both sides. So in theory, you could add another sunshade on here if you wanted to, but we've threaded it so that you can add other accessories on the end, like an ARD if you want. You can fit tenor brakes caps, which thread in here, which we also sell, and you can put the aperture ring on the front of the sunshade or between the scope and the sunshade. Why would you want an aperture ring on your scope that reduces your objective diameter to 40 millimeters? Well, you will lose some light when using the aperture ring, so it's not for all conditions, but it can increase your depth of field and sharpen your image in bright, high contrast situations. We've actually done a whole video on this explaining everything. See the link down below. We're also including a neoprene cover in the box. This is a nice way to just protect your scope from being bumped when transported, or protecting it from weather, or protecting your lenses from dust being kicked up by that guy next to you at the range with the 50 BMG in the muzzle brake. We've all been there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our new flagship rifle scope, the Element Theos. It's a beast. This is of course covered by our platinum lifetime warranty, which requires no registration. If you ever have an issue, we've got you covered. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or visit our website at element-optics.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.